Hey everyone! I love researching and planning overland routes. To me, it's a big part of the experience and adds to the anticipation, but it can be tedious. I figured AI could do this easily. It has access to the internet, so all the maps, Reddit threads, 4x4 forums, outdoor sites, everything. I thought this could be great. I asked ChatGPT and Grok to plan me a 3-day, 2-night journey through the North Maine Woods. If you're unaware, in the North Maine Woods, you have to enter and exit through a checkpoint because it's private land owned by paper companies. I asked it to give me a route with a checkpoint to enter, a campsite for each night, and a checkpoint to exit. And I said a water crossing or other scenic spots would be nice too. Conversationally, it was very enthusiastic. It was great, talking about the North Maine Woods, bringing up safety concerns, and I asked it also to give me a GPX route that I could follow exactly and just put it in and follow the GPX track. It was fun to watch Grok make this. You could see it like typing the file, but the end results were far from helpful. Keep in mind, this was made in June of 2025. I'm sure it will get better with time. So, first up is ChatGPT. So, it gave me this route, which is kind of weird because it goes back and doubles back upon itself. Let me get it in Google Earth. Let me get the North Maine Woods stuff up here. Um, yeah, this I don't want the town boundaries, and I don't want the checkpoints that require a fire permit or the campsites, but I want the checkpoints. Okay, so it asked me where I wanted to start. I said I'd go as far north as Fort Kent. It just started in Fort Kent, which is fine. It didn't give me any sort of entrance checkpoint, it looks like. The route seems to just be like pins connected, except for this curve here, which doesn't seem to be at anything, but otherwise the route is just straight lines between the pins, except for that curve. Cunliffe Depot campsite isn't where the pin says it is, and also that's a campsite that's on the Allagash Wilderness Waterway. I think that's what it's called, but you can only get to it from a canoe. So that campsite isn't one you can really use if you're driving. I did ask it for a stream crossing if that was available, and it gives me this spot, which is near a stream and a road, but they don't seem to intersect. Maybe down here? There's a bridge there, but I mean, stream crossings in the North Maine Woods are pretty rare. I've never encountered a real good one. If you know where one is, please let me know. Up here it says Tabuli Campsite and Fire Tower Trailhead. I don't think this is where those are. I know it's near the pond of the same name, and I don't see that around here. I don't know where it is in relation to this, but it's not there. Another random curve, and then it says Ranger Station Road exit, which I don't know what the name of the check will be. That Fish River checkpoint is near there, but nonetheless, still, this route really isn't very helpful or usable at all. All right, so it's Grok's turn. Grok's route looks better because it goes from point to point, doesn't double back on itself. It seems to start at a checkpoint and end at a checkpoint, and they're checkpoints that are real. I've heard of them. Let's turn on the North Maine Woods stuff. Let's shut off the stuff we don't need. We don't need the town boundaries. We don't need the. I only like to stay at the the sites where you don't need a fire permit. So, okay, that's better. Okay, St. Francis checkpoint is not near there. Again, this looks to be the same. It's got pins and straight lines between them. No actual route that you can follow. Never did it seem to take roads into account at any time. St. Francis checkpoint's up here. It's about 40 miles north of where it's said. Actually, it's kind of good. Next time I go, I want to go up further north, so maybe I will use that, but that's of no help to me with this map. Um, St. John River overlook is nowhere near the river. Doesn't look to be on top of a mountain. That just seems to be a made up point that's not near a road or anything, anyways. Okay, what do we got next? We've got straight lines that you really can't follow. We've got round pond. I don't know about this campground. I think it's finding camp because I think Ross Lake campground, not the campsite from the North Main Woods. I think the campground is a little bit to the west of there. So that maybe it's finding me campgrounds instead of using the North Maine Wood campsites. Nothing wrong with that. Big White Brook Crossing. There's no road there. I mean, there's water, but there's no road. What's next? We've got Churchill Depot. I don't know. I don't know what it's getting at there, but then this is hard to follow because there's a big lake in the way. Chamberlain Lake Campground. That's what Nugent's Camps is around there, I think. So that's wrongly named, but both of these campgrounds were near campgrounds, which I guess that's a mistake. I guess the pins aren't right, but the ghost trains are not near there at all. They're significantly north of there. What is here? A road, it looks like, but nothing really there. The trains is a cool sight to see if you're ever up there, and to leave through Telos checkpoint, which is honestly not too far off. That pin's not right on the checkpoint, but it's not terrible. What if I gave it an old route and said, build upon this for another journey? Let's see what we get. So this is from when my friends and I went to the North Maine Woods in 2022. All the routes, almost every route I've ever taken is on my website. Everything's free. If you want this route, it's there. It was dead ends. There's wrong turns. It's all just exactly what we did. And Grok commented on this. Looks like you guys did some exploring. It said something like that. I asked it to build upon this and use this route and give me some more stuff to explore. And it got this trip to Canada, seemingly just crossing the border wherever. It's got some points. Let's see. Allagash Mountain is. I don't think it's there. It doesn't look like a mountain to me. I don't think that's where Allagash Mountain is. Let's see. Yeah, nope, that's not a mountain. That kind of looks like a town we're in. That's weird. Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, that's in Canada. And yeah, there's maybe a small hill there. Okay, so that's not right. I'm surprised how wrong it gets some of these points and how wrong it gets the path. What if I ask it a way, way easier question? Grok, can you give me a GPX file of the famous Rubicon Trail? This you can just Google and get it. It's got to get this pretty good, I would imagine. I get a nice little description of the trail, pretty cool little synopsis of the trail, major obstacles. Now it writes its GPX track, which I still like watching that. It's just kind of cool to see the inner workings of a GPX file, which I guess I've never looked at in text format. Why would I? But it's cool to see. I did skip ahead a little bit. It does have the sort of disclaimer to use Cartotrax or Onyx for a more precise route, which makes sense. Onyx, I'm sure, has it in there. I do have Onyx. It also kind of has some safety tips and some other usage tips and some information about permits, which could be kind of helpful. Let's take a look at Grok's Rubicon Trail. All right, so here's the trail Grok gave me: Tahoe staging area, Rubicon Springs, Loon Lake Trailhead. I'm going to put in the one I got off of Trails Off Road, which is my preferred mapping off-road app, and none of it overlaps what Grok gave me. Wow. Even one that's like readily available, it doesn't get right. This is Grok's rendition of the Rubicon Trail in Google Earth. This looks like a cool area, but not part of the Rubicon Trail. I do like that it's enthusiastic. It's nice to talk to. It gives you tips on gear and climate and whatnot. It does mention permits and such, but I don't know if I'd trust it because it's so wrong about where things are. But it'd be fun to watch this video in a couple years, or even a year, or maybe a couple months at the rate things are going, because I imagine, like everything else, it'll get way, way better really quick. Thanks for watching.